everyone, it is Mickey here from A Pretty Talent, where we use our God-given talents to make the world a pretty place. Now, I wanted to do just a little short project today, but I think I've already bitten off more than I can chew for one day. So in any case, let's see how this goes. I suspect we're going to have to run into a second video, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've already got glue under my fingers, under my nails. Okay, so what I have here is a book that I bought from a thrift store a while ago. It has this lovely slide-in box that it comes into. And this one has some slight damage, but nothing that can't be fixed. It does have this imprint of the company associated with this book on the back, and I'm not too impressed by that. For the rest, I don't mind this, although I do think I'll probably pull this off or work over it. I don't know. It's not that I don't like this per se, it's just not, it's not enough. Any case, then the book itself, I've already deconstructed it so that I don't put you through the painful process of that. It is lovely. It is covered in fabric with this little paper thing on top again, which can easily be removed. Again, that imprint on the back from the company that I believe it's gone out of business. And then here is the name, Art Collection Sanlam Kunsversameling. So this was the art collection of a banking group, a financial group. Yeah, they published this. Now, this is lovely. Here was a sticker here that I removed because it's a very shiny paper that's resistant to most glues. So I tried my best to remove that. Do love this speckled paper, so try to keep that. Front and back. Okay. And then I've removed all of the papers from the inside. That's a little cut which I made when I removed the sticker. And I removed the insert on the spine as well, so that when I now turn this into a journal, I have, well, it's a little easier for me to work through the spine, which I'll probably do. I'll work through the spine with the binding and then cover this, because I don't want this on the spine in any case. But that we will do much later. So for now, I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to show you what came out of the journal. So these are the papers that I've recovered from the journal. They are literally art prints on a very strong glossy paper. If I were to guess, I'd say this is about 110-120 gram square meter paper. So I don't know what that translates into pounds, I'm sorry. But in any case, so they are printed back to back, which is a bit of a pity. So you'd need to make a decision as to what you wanted to keep. Now, this does not need to be a blind decision, because at the back of the journal they had an explanation of the artwork. So if it's not obvious to you, you can go, there it is, commentary to the plates. You could go and literally look that up. Okay, they also have these wonderful blank pages. That's not blank, but this is lovely journaling space. And I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's about, it's a creamish color, off-white. It's not a stark white. I'm looking for a stark white in my vicinity so I could compare it for you. It is a stark white. Can you see that this is not white? And that makes it very, very nice, very useful in vintage journaling. So let me put that page aside. I'm not going to do anything with that. If I were to very quickly look for, it's probably more to the front. I don't know. I'm just trying to find one of these odd images. Okay, let's see if we just leave this open somewhere, if we can come across, for instance, this, and read what it says about that. Okay, so these were, they came out loose, but most of the pages I have removed or managed to remove intact by just removing the stitching first. And this was a bit of a task because this book only had two pages per signature. 2 pages stitched together, in other words. Okay, so there is that. Now I'm going to cut these out because these would make for lovely stamps. And then I'm not sure what I will do with this side. Whether it's worth saving or not, because it is such a shiny paper. I will keep these white strips at the bottom, and I'll show you what I do with those. Okay, but in any case, that's the idea with that. Now, here are the artworks. They are fantastic. It's such a pity that the one would have to choose, in most cases, which side you want to keep and which you're going to lose. In some, like this, you might lose a top or a bottom, but you might be able to retain both sides. But in a case like this, we have portrait and landscape back to back. There would have to be a choice. Now these are, I stand to be corrected, but I believe they're all South African artists. I really like this. I don't know what, oh, here it is. I was just going to say, I don't know what it means, but this image appeals to me. So, Adolf and a Pfeiffer, it's 1947, and it's called Decoy for a Sitting Duck. And it's a sketch, 70 by 50 centimeters. Adolf and a Pfeiffer brought her exquisite draftsmanship and etching skills and a socio-political awareness fostered in Poland and the Netherlands to her art during her brief residence in South Africa. In this, one of an allegorical series, she uses birds to highlight human folly. There is a fine sense of irony in the live bird perched high above a wooden duck, with a fantastic cat o' nine tails, or possibly a fishing line, looping from its beak. Delicate net and satin embroidery fill the gable beneath the bird, symbolic of mindless domesticity, cruelty, and stupidity. Also, the distances behind all are part of this penned comment on South African morals, mores, and politics. Well, it says something. This is such a fantastic sketch when you start looking at the detail of this penmanship. It is amazing. She made use of hatching and cross-hatching and stippling, and I don't know if you can see the detail. This is cross-hatching. It's such a lovely texture. Oh, in any case, it is absolutely a beautiful work of art. Nonetheless, this is what we've got to work with. Now, this is why I opted to buy this book. Because I am going to, or intend to use this in a way that spotlights these works of arts in a new way, still appreciative of the art. I don't understand this. I'd have to read about something like this. But yes, hoping to shed some. Oh, here's one of my favorites. I would recognize a Pierneef anyway because he has such a distinct style. What a brilliant, brilliant artist. But they are more. Oh, Frans Oeder. Hugo Nadir. These are brilliant artists. In South Africa, very well known, possibly in the art world overseas as well. Eric Laubscher, Judith Mason. Yeah, there are some really fantastic names here. Lynette Matsotso. Okay. Maggie Laubscher. Here's another Maggie Laubscher. I'm not going to read all of them. Okay, so those are the prints that we've got to work with. Now, these are the sort of beginning pages and whatever it is. Again, we've got these blank pages that are just fantastic to work with. I'm simply going to remove this one now. Let me just do this. And then this one that I would have to make a decision on. Did I say that they had English and Afrikaans throughout the book? So this one is just, okay, here's a lovely piece of white writing. This one has some lovely blank space. So we'll take that one off. And this one has lovely blank space. Leave that one be. This one is beautiful with a blank page. So we'll retain that. And this one we will need to make a decision on. I'll probably keep this white space because this is easy enough to cover with something. So I'll rather view this as a blank page regardless of the fact that it isn't, strictly speaking, blank. Okay, so that's those. Now, here comes my knife. As far as these are concerned, let me just pick one of these. What I would do, I'd forgotten about the coffee that was standing to the side here, is I would line this up with my cutting board and then cut away. I think if I line it up at the bottom, I'm going to do better. So I'm going to cut away these white areas. And then what I would choose to do is to stamp them, and I'm just going to do this real quick to show you. I would also recover these white areas. There's more areas here to recover. Well, let me quickly recover them and then I can show you some ideas on what to do with the rest as well. Okay. I think I need to work here at the bottom where I can see. Can I work on 2 centimeters? Not quite. So in that case, let me rather do this. Hey, do you need to move? Now, I'm even going to do this, believe it or not. I hadn't noticed this, but I'm going to recover this. Because I like the wood. Now what you've got here is very sturdy paper, which you can use to back paper that might be flimsy. Do I have flimsy paper in the vicinity? I do. So these are extremely thin, flimsy little tickets. And if I wanted to make these more sturdy for some other reason, I would now back them on this paper, even leaving a bit of space around the ticket so that I could maybe turn that into a feature. So let's do this. Glue plate. This paper is so thin, it's almost transparent. This ticket paper. Okay. So something like that. Now, here's what you will see. If you now look closely, you can actually see the writing from the back coming through this extremely thin, or showing through this extremely thin ticket paper, because it is so thin that it's almost transparent, and that might disappear as it dries. It kind of proves my point as to what is the measly quality of this ticket paper. I'm just going to put them like that. Now, what do you then do with this ticket? And don't get me wrong, you can use the ticket as is, and just stick it down on any surface. But if you wanted to turn it into something, let me just go across. So line it up. If you wanted to turn this into an ephemera piece that does not need to be glued down, then this is an idea of how to go about it. Mounting it on a sturdier paper, and now you've got something stronger to work with. This is going to curl and do all sorts of things because it's a water-based ink. Now, honestly, you need to be a little bit more careful about cutting it, because I've not been measuring this. But I would like to just cut this a little bit smaller on the side, and then probably come in with a corner punch. Like that, and a little bit of inking. I'm not going to do both of them, I'm just showing you ideas. Right, and then if you come in with your stamp pads, or your stamps, and this is actually a brand new set I thought I would use immediately, and it's been weeks and I haven't gotten to it, but I'm busy with exams at school, so I am looking. I'm not going to mount it now, I'm just going to show you quickly how to go about this. So let's put this on here. And if I now come in with this little stamp, and I edge this a bit. How gorgeous is that? Or I do something like, where are these coffee rings? I'll get this out as well. Let's go for one of these small ones. And how lovely does that look? And it's just really rubbish. But it makes for a beautiful, beautiful ephemera piece. And then you can decide what you want to do on the back. But in any case, yes. So that's a lovely, lovely little idea for what to do with papers like this. If they are nice and strong and sturdy, don't just throw them away because, yeah, strong paper, sturdy paper, it's normally extremely expensive. And if you get it like this, well, that's an idea for what to do with it. Right. Okay, so let me put this little thing back before I lose it. Okay, now, what else are we going to do with this book that we have deconstructed? Let's talk about these white strips that I want to save. Let me get the stamps for that. It's right here. Is it? Yes. So they would be stamp sets like this that you would use to create ephemera pieces. And I'm actually looking at this one. I think this one would actually fit. Okay, so I'm going to have to go for my I need a bigger one. There we go. This is a huge one. Okay, well, it is. I will just use it. Okay. So here's what I now do. It's got the page numbers there. Honestly, I'm going to ignore that. It's not going to matter at all. And you don't have to stamp this in brown. Brown just happens to be the stamp pad that's on my desk. Coffee brown. You can do this in black, blue, any color you want. And leave this be a bit so it dries properly. There I have 3 lovely ephemera pieces, and I'm going to put one on the side as well because there's a bit of space left there. I'm just going to put this one as is. And there you go. You've made some lovely ephemera pieces like the ones here that I can now just add to this, and if I need to pull something out, it's readily available. Right, so that's why I don't discard those pieces. Again, very strong paper and therefore valuable, more valuable than papers that are not quite as strong. Okay, so I'm not going to show you that for the rest of the video either. Let's talk about, let me just see, okay, those are all those papers. Okay, let's talk about these now. What do we do with these? Well, first off, I'm going to cut away this bottom piece so we can recover it. And so nothing of this book is going to go to waste. You'll see we will use just about everything that can be used here. Don't worry, not all on camera. On camera I'm just giving you one example of each because that is certainly enough. Let's do that. I'm just cutting away the necessary bits so I can get to the parts that I want to work with. Nope, that's not loose. What is with you, knife? Okay, now I'm going to cut away. That was not a proper cutting. Okay, now I'm going to cut away here. I'm going to give it a little bit more space than is needed. Okay, and I guess I should have cut off the top first, but it doesn't matter. We'll get to that later. Okay, now, what do I do with this? With these, I like to use my scissors. Let me get that. So I have this container of, you know, these fancy scissors. And I am looking for, yes, this one. At the top because I use it more often than most of the others. And what I'm going to do is cut this just cut it away like that. And now I have a lovely stamp, it's upside down, a lovely stamp that I can use. And again, if I use this in conjunction with, I lose things on my desk today, I don't know. Where are those? No, that's not the stamps I'm looking for. Something like this. Now I'm going to use the brown because it's available for no other reason. But if I now come in with a stamp like this, I'll clean these afterwards. And let me see if there's a little number somewhere. Something I can use. Shall I do this one? Maybe just a little number. Honestly, my stamp pads are next to me. Why don't I use them? I don't know. Just a little number. Which I put down there. And brown is not the ideal color. Oh, goodness. Then I can turn this into something really spectacular and special. And all of these have the potential to now become stamps, which again, I just throw into my ephemera container and they are ready for me to pull out when I start journaling. Right, so that's the small pieces. Let's look at the larger pieces. I'll swap them over here so the large ones are at the top. Put those aside and toss those. Yes, I do sometimes toss things because you can only use so much and no more. Okay, these. What do we do with these? Well, as I said, sadly we would have to make a decision. Oh, sadly we do have to make a decision. My heart is sore about that, but okay. Let's look at the Maggie Laubscher, Portrait of a Man, 1923 to 1924, and this is Red Fisherman's Hut, 1886 to 1973. I prefer this one. On another day, maybe I prefer the other one. I don't know. Houses tend to win with me over portraits most of the time. So we cut away the white. Not a very good cut, it's still white there. Let me just first do this one and then I'll do that one. Aye. Right, let me cut this white properly away. Okay. And now you have only the work of art left. At the back, oh wow, I could still use this guy. Oh my goodness, I'm on two minds. Okay, this I would just leave as is in a container because this can go a million ways. It could essentially become a journal page if you wanted to fold it. It could become a topper for a journal and you add more things on top. It could become an insert piece. Now this is rather large, but something you put inside a pocket, maybe fold it again, put it inside a pocket, and a person could unfold it, and you can create a writing space. Now this was my original thought, that you then put writing space here, but with this bloke having cut out so nicely, I would probably not. That's me. I would probably not. So if you were like that, like I am, a little loath to cut this apart, I'm looking for paper, just paper. Let me use this. Then I would obviously cut this now to size. But I would probably do something like this, something that would flip in, not as big as this, from both sides even, and that would hide away the white on the sides here, or the blank on the sides here, and my writing spaces would then flip out, and this whole thing would become a little interactive, folding open, flipping out, and becoming a lovely, lovely little space that you can do more things on. You can add things and whatever it is, but essentially that's how I would use these, and they become, because they're works of art, and I'm an artist myself, and it feels to me as if you allow people to handle art, to really see art. Art that hangs on a wall is fantastic, and I have no problem with that. But art that you handle, work with, unfold and discover, yeah, to me, it's a second lease on life. And this is not the original work of art. This is just a print. And so it kind of brings it to life again. In any case, so that's the idea with this book, the deconstruction of the book. That's how I'm going to be winning the different parts of the book, retrieving it, using it, and so on. And then when I'm done, or maybe before I'm done, I don't know, because that'll take a while, I will start constructing a new journal, making that book into a new journal, giving it a fresh lease on life, a fresh cover, etc., etc. And yes, I'll show you that in another video as well. I actually thought this video would be about that, and then I got completely sidetracked with the insides of the book, which is so adorable. Okay, so I guess this video is the deconstruction of a book in order to prepare it for a video, but also the retrieval of the insides of that book for turning it into ephemera pieces. What I'm thinking is that maybe I shouldn't end the video here, but rather finish this one so I can show you what it looks like. Let me gather the pieces and I'll finish this one still. Right, I'm back. Now, when I let off, I thought I was simply going to show you how to handle the pages on this project, but I actually spent the rest of the day creating the embellishments from this book that I took apart. So I did not make the journal, which is actually what I set out to do today, but I will do that on another day. I'm going to set this aside. I've not done anything with these blank or semi-blank pages. There are a couple of things I can do with them, but essentially I think I want to use them as pages and create writing space. It would be easy to cover this. This one is blank on the back. So if I were to use this one as is, let me just get this. This is one of the pockets I created. I could easily put a pocket there. Now I know it's not the right size and whatever, but that would effectively cover the writing there. And that's something I could do with most of these. There are things that would cover those little bits of writing that's still left on those. So those pages I've left untouched. Now, I cut out all of the pictures and I tried my best to save as much as possible on both sides of the page. Now, it's not 100% possible to save everything. Now, where I absolutely favor a picture, I did not want to make it smaller, cut it smaller. I don't very much like this one. It's not the painting itself, it's just a face, and a face that has no meaning to me. I can appreciate it for its artistic value. That I will say. I think this is rather brilliantly done. But as far as picture only is concerned, I like this picture. I think I should take these out so you can actually see it for what it is. So I would prefer to be able to use this in a journal. Maybe the center page of a journal. So that when you open the journal, you come upon this page. So what then about these pages? Well, you're going to have a guy peeking at you on either side. And what about these white strips? There's a lot you can do with the white strips. You could maybe turn it into a tuck spot or writing space. So that's not a lot of journaling space, but it's some journaling space. And so with a page like this, until I actually have a journal to put this in, I'd rather leave it as is. And that's true for all of the pages in this parcel. This is brilliant journaling space. And this is a lovely picture. This one really appealed to me because on this side you have a full life with lots of things filling space. And then you have the desolation on this side. And so I thought a comment on that in the journaling space here would be fantastic. This one, if I cut this off, I would have a lovely space, but I would lose something here. And something which is essential. There are 3 figures here. So this something would be essential. And so I didn't want to lose that. I'd rather leave this as journaling space. This one is just a personal preference. This is a Pirneef. I love Pirneef, and so rather leave this journaling space than lose this bottom of the picture. Same thing here. Lovely journaling space. And this one stays whole. This one I did not want to lose anything from. And so a little bit of journaling space. Not very fond of this picture. But, well, anyways, brilliant journaling, well, not brilliant, but a little journaling space there. This one's some lovely journaling space. I love this picture. And I actually like it more than this one, but both sides of this one would have some journaling space. So those are the ones where I kept some journaling space. Then there were some pictures where I could use the whole picture. Now, I may have lost something on the side or at the bottom of some of the works of art. But this one, for instance, is absolutely lovely. Now, I have rounded the corners just to show you that you could now turn this into something that you could tuck into a rather larger pocket. Now, why a larger? I am going to be making a larger journal here, isn't it? And so these tags, which would normally be too large for another journal, they would still fit in this journal. It wouldn't surprise me if I used most of these back in the same book where they came from. This one, this is the full work of art around the corners, and this one I lost quite a bit on the sides. Not a lot, but some. So these also came out rather nicely. I'm going to go rather quick because these are just paintings that were retained. May have lost a little bit on some of them. This is such a statement piece. And yeah. But absolutely, this is such a stunning, I suppose this is a drawing, a graphite drawing, I guess. I love this. Anyways, I have my preferences. Oh, this is gorgeous as well. This one I lost a bit at the, I pretty much lost the whole painting at the bottom. This was an abstract piece. But I was willing to sacrifice it. I have kept that part. But anyways, I didn't throw anything of this book away. Barely anything. Little pieces of offcuts. And then the last one is this one. So those are as far as the paintings are concerned. Now, then there were some where I had offcuts that I could turn into pockets. This lovely little chair, I thought this could make a very nice pocket on a page. This one can become a very shallow pocket, probably be divided in two and become pockets on a tag rather than on a page. And this one would be the page, but with the pockets. Now, I didn't glue them down because until I put it in a journal, I don't want to restrict myself. But I think these would become pockets. Now, why did I not cut these off? Why did I fold them back? Because the colors so brilliantly coincide with each other. Even though the styles of these two works of art are completely different, the colors just work brilliantly together. And so I decided to fold them over to make that a little bit more obvious. There's only one that I folded into a tag. This is what I've got left of this. And I loved this painting. But I still, well, both of them actually. But I still love them, and I still think they can work brilliantly. So this will be a fold-up tag. There are loads of other tags that I've created from the offcuts. And you will see they normally come in twos because they've been cut from the sides. That's the painting where I said I pretty much lost the whole painting because yeah, anyways. And all of these are white at the back. This one actually is a bottom. There's the artist's name, but it works lovely like this as well. And yeah, these two as well. So those are lovely bookmarks and tags and things that I've managed to recover. And then these are rather thin strips that I can use as tag toppers, or I don't know, do all sorts of things. I love this one, but I'm not going to toss them because they are still brilliant things. Use them on belly bands, etc., etc. And this one I was going to turn into tags, and then I decided this would make for a lovely, lovely belly band, so I kept it as is. So that's as far as the actual pictures are concerned, but I have gone one step further. These are all the offcut pieces that I have stamped. I've literally stamped all of them already. And I've got a whole box of ready-made tickets and all sorts of things here that I can just cut out, and you see the pages with white on the back. All of them. All of this comes from that book. On top of that, I have also created all of these from that book. Now, here are my stamps that I've made from the smaller prints. Lovely, lovely stamps. None of these have been finished. I'll sort of finish them as I put them into journals. These are what I started off with the ticket stubs, or raffle stubs, or raffle tickets, whatever you call these. And then I decided it's getting too much of the same, although I love this, but it's a bit too much of the same. And so I went in search of things that I'd already printed out that I could use. And this was just printed on plain copy paper. It was already printed. I just mounted it on the typed pages that I would not be able to use anything for. So the writing on the typed pages now becomes a bit of a backdrop for these. None of them are prettily cut. They've just been cut apart. They need to have the corners rounded. They need to be inked. They need to have a whole lot of stuff done to them. But they've been brought up to this point. And I'm just trying to show you how you can use a book. This is printable. This was printed on plain copy paper, printable. And it's ticket stubs, but with these lovely words. And so I mounted those, so they're a little bit more sturdy. And these are sentiments as well, printables. Plain copy paper that I printed them on, and now I have mounted them, and they are just a little bit more sturdy. And all of this was recovered from one book that I took apart. And that's before I turn the book into a journal and start playing with it as well. Now, one last thought before I leave off. Aside from, let me just see where the journal is. Here it is. Aside from just turning this journal or this book into a journal, I could also cut this very sturdy box that it comes in up cut it open and turn this into a journal. So I would have two similar looking journals. Or if I don't make this journal too thick, I would be able to slide it right back into the box and keep it neatly together as is as for a journal. So I could effectively make two journals or one journal in a box from this. Now, that will be a second video. But I did want to show you that when I take a book apart, nothing is lost. Nothing goes to waste. I literally use everything. So I hope this inspired you. And I hope you understand this whole thing about deconstructing a book a little bit better. So this is a whole video on making embellishments. I'll see you in the next one where hopefully I have a chance to make this video. But whatever follows next, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.